The following may contain language and subject matter which is not appropriate for all audiences. Hello, everyone. Thank you once again for joining us here on the Low Fact Podcast. Matt and Dave, sans Andy.
How did I know you were going to say that?
Because you've known me for a really long time and I've probably gotten pretty predictable.
I knew you were going to say sans.
Anyway. So yeah, like I said yesterday, I think we broke Andy.
Yeah.
Or
maybe he just needs to take a break.
Because, he's recorded so many podcasts. And
I wonder if he's going to be. Well, he's definitely going to be listening to this.
Yes, as you guys may or may not be aware, Andy, our new talking head / guest,
sound engineer extraordinaire,
has been in charge of doing the sound editing, which I think is good because we sound a lot better.
It's
quality wise, if not content wise.
It's impressive.
So kudos to Andy for making us sound good, and we still got to give you some shit about skipping out on us.
Yeah, man.
Flake.
He didn't even give a reason.
Maybe it was too embarrassing.
Maybe he was taking his cats to the vet.
Yeah, I suppose. Something. Whatever it was, tisk tisk.
I still can't believe he gave us so much crap about liking cats.
Tisk tisk, Andrew. So, I guess we were talking about the ramifications of societal acceptance of
lying.
Well, just of stuff, the increased societal acceptance of stuff that wasn't so readily accepted before. And it's a mixed bag. I mean, there's always consequences to everything. I'm not saying that things should be the way they were in the good old days because, number one, as old as I am, I wasn't around in the good old days. And if I lived here in the United States 100 years ago, I probably wouldn't even be considered a person. So, there's that. But, so yeah, I mean, there are consequences to everything. And one of the consequences that certain people kind of throw out with our greater acceptance of things that have happened in the societal. I really don't even want to say zeitgeist because I don't even know what that means really anymore.
Zeitgeist. All I know is it's a German word.
Very good. Ding ding. So yeah, I mean, some things that we've accepted or we've changed the views on societally, I think are good. And others, I don't want to necessarily say are bad because I don't know what's contributed to, the general feelings that are out there. From a more traditionalist point of view, there is the thought that if we kind of get back to some traditional attitudes about things, that things might be better. They may not. I just don't know. And I'm really, really trying to find a give a damn for it.
Isn't your give a damn busted though?
As the country song goes, yes, my give a damn is busted.
That's a real song.
It is.
By the way, country songs I've been listening to a few country songs. Some of them are uplifting, but mostly they're freaking grim.
I don't know. I think a lot of country songs are uplifting.
But they're always about my dog died, I lost my girlfriend, my mom died.
Yeah, but that's really just kind of a slice of life thing, and you do have to go through the crap to get to the better, I suppose.
What if there's no better?
Oh, I think that's just a point of view. That's a perspective issue.
It is?
Yeah.
It's all about your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
I mean, to a certain extent, I do believe that you kind of need the bad to know what the good is.
So if you have a life that's just nothing but good,
then you're not going to be happy at all. I dare say you'll probably be just as unfulfilled and unsatisfied. Actually, I think you'd be more unfulfilled and unsatisfied if you had a life that was nothing but bad.
You'd be more fulfilled.
More unfulfilled.
Wait, you just said if everything was good, you wouldn't be fulfilled.
Yeah.
But if it's all bad, then it'd be worse?
I think it might even be not as worse.
Not as bad?
Hmm.
I thought you just said you'd be more unfulfilled.
I was thinking about it, and it seems counterintuitive, but yeah, I'm going to stick to my guns on that. If you have a super tough life, where you're wondering about food, where you're wondering about just basic survival,
There's a lot of people
yeah.
right now.
Well, that's always been a lot of people. I mean, even the people here in America that are worried about survival, their life is better than maybe someone out in Timbuktu.
That always just reminds me about people complaining that they only have basic cable.
That's the point.
You have cable.
I think years ago, John Stossel was making a comparison. He did one of his investigative studies, and he was making a comparison about being poor in the United States and being poor in like India.
Oh, yeah.
And he was talking to a person, or he was profiling a person in the United States who is poor, would be objectively considered poor in the United States, and it was like, well, do you have a job? I was like, yeah, but it don't pay that much. I'm a janitor or something to that effect. And like, okay, so what do your janitor's duty include? I was like, well, I got to clean toilets and all this. And he was like, and Stossel was like, but you have like implements, right? You have tools to do all these things. Like, oh yeah. And he's like, do you have an apartment? He's like, yeah. Like, do you have indoor plumbing? He's like, yeah. Do you have electricity? He's like, yeah. He's like, do you have a TV? You have cable? He's like, well, I got cable, but it's just basic cable.
Oh, that's how that was the John Stossel interview?
Well, that was kind of the profile of, as I remember it. I could be remembering incorrectly. But then he went to India, where they still have the caste system, I think they still have a caste system, but back then it was pretty strictly enforced. And he was talking to a woman who was in the untouchable caste, and he was asking her, he was like, "Do you have a house?" And she's like, "I have a shack that I've erected, living next to some like dump, an actual dump." And like, do you have electricity? No. Do you have running water? No. Do you have a job? I was like, well, I work cleaning toilets. He's like, okay, what does that mean? He's like, well, I clean toilets by hand. She uses her bare hands to touch feces and whatnot.
A little different.
Just a bit. And I don't know if this number is correct, but I think that there's a significant number of people across the world that live on less than $2 American a day. And I dare say that there are probably homeless people in the United States that can panhandle more than that.
Oh, definitely.
So,
plus there's like, all sorts of support.
Yeah, but the support stuff is kind of a lot of stuff that people talk about, and helping out the poor and doing this and doing that, reparations type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that stuff is all good and well to say, but then when you get to the logistics of it, it doesn't work out.
So the programs don't work?
The programs don't even I think some European countries have tried some things like a reparations type deal or something, and I can't.
Oh, are you talking about the salary thing where they just give people money?
No, I'm not talking about universal basic income. I'm talking about some kind of benefit or dole, for the lack of a better word, that was being given out. And I think it could have been France, I can't remember, but it was a European country. And there was going to be this help for a class of people.
Right.
It might have been survivors of Hitler's attempted Jewish genocide. And so, I think there was the country was like, we're going to give some aid to people that were survivors of that.
Right.
And then logistically, it came out to where it was almost impossible to get the money because you had to prove that you were there or something.
How the hell would you do that?
What do you mean, prove that you were there?
Yeah. Well, there would have to be papers.
Sorry, well,
with your name on it?
Well, from the government perspective, how are they going to give out the money? You're just going to show up and yeah, I was there. Give me my money.
So they didn't really think it through then.
No, it's not a matter of thinking it through. It's just, who they are you talking about?
The government.
Oh, I think the government was thinking it through.
Because they didn't want to give anybody money.
Well, no, I think the government was thinking it through because there's a finite amount of resources, number one, and you don't want to get some cheater
Yeah, but your example is different from the homeless example here in like California, for example. It's not like somebody has to. I don't think if somebody goes in that they have to sit there and prove
That they're homeless?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just like they probably just assess it by looking at the person.
Well, it depends on what's being given, doesn't it now?
Well, like washing facilities, maybe some money, maybe mental health support, psychiatric help, medical assistance, all
Well,
those things.
all that's kind of given, albeit inefficiently.
But they don't have to prove.
Well, it's kind of like trying to prove the existence of a deity.
What? Ugh.
Let's say there's
My
a
head hurts.
let's say that there's a program that gives free apartments to people who are homeless.
Right.
How are you going to prove you're homeless?
I mean, I guess there would be nothing, because if you have a home, right, and you're paying taxes, there would be evidence of that.
One would think that the hoops to run through to get a free apartment, if it's just based on eyeballing someone and saying, oh yeah, you're probably homeless. I mean, really all you'd have to do, and it's not an easy all you'd have to do, is take one pair of clothes and go live out in the streets, or take one pair of clothes, don't shower for weeks. Spend your day outside kind of rolling around, to get scuzzier and scuzzier.
Right.
Right? So...
but see, even that doesn't work. You know why? Because there's washing facilities. So there's people who are homeless who don't smell, and there's people that have homes that do smell.
But you're kind of the idea sounds good. The logistical application of it very tough.
And that's
because you're talking about washing facilities. You live in a community or in an area where you can kind of go someplace and throw water on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What if you lived in a place that doesn't have that?
Then you would be proper fucked.
Maybe not.
I mean, you would have to get support from elsewhere.
Again, I don't know. I mean, I think we're moving away from what we started talking about.
Well, yeah.
Now time has been eaten away. Thankfully, saved by the buzzer, because now I don't have to talk about this anymore. So the answer is we don't know. Whatever the question was.
Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram at Low Fat Podcast. You can email us. Please email us. lowfatpodcast@gmail.com, or you can just search Low Fat Podcast and find us on Stitcher, iTunes, and YouTube, or wherever else you pick up your feed. Thank you.